Hi guys, Bolt here. Today I want to take some of your precious time and dive into the gameplay footage of Broken Arrow that I talked about a few days ago, but this time really dive into the details of it. Now before I do that, I want to give a big shout out to my patrons. If you also want to join and support me with a cup of coffee, check out the link in the description. Let's dive into the gameplay footage. Now first thing that I want to note is that this entire mission was made in the scenario editor of Broken Arrow that will be available to all of us at launch. It will be a part of the actual game, which means that we can create our own scenarios from day one and start sharing these with others. Now I'm not going to go over every single unit that is selected and kind of, dissect all of the unit stats that I can. I think that will be preserved for another video where I do actual deck reviews or battle group reviews. But in this one I'm going to talk about some of the more, some of the more subtle things that they've added to Broken Arrow that I am really excited about. One thing I really like is how buildings are garrisoned. For example, in this building you can put 32 soldiers in, and other buildings the number might change, but this is a really cool concept. Instead of having a limit to the amount of squads you can put in, for example in Wargame this number was 1, in Warno you could put 2 infantry units in there, but in this game you can just fit as many soldiers as the building actually allows. So you can mix and match different types of units together, for example a small team and a recon team and a bunch of marines. As soon as the 13 US Marines unloaded and were selected, we have an avatar of each individual soldier. So all of these guys, well most of them, have a basic assault rifle, one of them has a DMR of some sort, one of them has an anti-tank weapon, and 3 also have underbarrel grenades, and this is also summarized right side here. So here's a really cool comparison. On the top, we have the Marines when they're completely fresh, good on ammunition and everything. On the bottom we have these units after, they're basically not having a good time. 7 out of the 13 Marines there are panicked or in one way or the other incapacitated. And this does not only decrease the amount of Marines in this squad that is able to continue, but it also removes those weapons from the overall squad in general. So the 5th guy from the bottom is the one with the DMR. And if we look at the right side, the DMR is basically gone. There is no soldier with the DMR. Those 2 numbers underneath the weapon, the left one means the amount of soldiers that have it, the right one is the ammunition of, available that is available for this weapon. So it's not just the ammunition that is out, this dude is gone. Simple as that. The AT guy luckily survived. If we look one below that, there's 2 less underbarrel grenade launchers, and also obviously 6 less assault or battle rifles. So this is really cool, and that answered our previous question. Now here is an example of less is more. Now instead of having Marines, a card for Marines in every type of vehicle that they can come into, you just click on Marines and then click on the vehicle you want them to come into. This is a really nice way of kind of condensing the options that you have in this game. Now, during the interview, the developer really made a point of vehicles being super vulnerable out in the open. So Javelin team here is just yeeting 2 javelins towards this tank, and the tank is basically no more. And this is not at an insane distance. Sure, it is a bit, it is a bit far. It is down the street, so even in real life this would be quite far for infantry to have a nice clear, line of sight on that vehicle. But still, it shows that infantry is indeed the backbone of an army, and that everything else surrounding it is play more of a supportive role. And I do like to see that. Another cool thing and very important thing in an RTS is supplies. And in this case, the LVSR, or a Hemmet really, by the looks of it, can be designated as a supply truck. So you can purchase the Hemmet and then basically load up supplies to this Hemmet, or you can also use it to transport infantry. And the same is true for big helicopters such as the CH-53E Sea Stallion. Now there's nothing here that I want to comment on, it just looks cool, so enjoy this part. Another really cool thing is the countermeasures. Now with these helicopters, for example, they clearly show up as countermeasures. It looks really beautiful, but also these need to be rearmed, or not rearmed, but resupplied later. Yep, you're seeing that right. This Osprey is going to carry a small team. It's going to carry Marines, Scout Snipers, and also Force Recon. This is awesome. Instead of having 4 helicopters yeeting forward, you can just have one giant Osprey with your entire flanking force in one go. This is really, really cool. I don't know why other games haven't done this yet, but this is huge. Now I know I'm kind of going crazy with these, small details. In this case with the F-35 or planes in general. So on the bottom right we have all the commands we can give to it, and one of the commands is that we can change its altitude manually. So if you want this guy to fly higher or lower, we can actually adjust this. Another thing that we can tell this plane to do is to not extract when it's running out of fuel, and just to battle it out until the end. And we can actually tell this guy to just eject if we don't think that we're going to win the fight. And if we extract this pilot, we can actually refund or get back some of the points that was necessary to spawn this unit, and we can spend it on something else. But the plane itself is actually gone. That much is gone. And since Broken Arrow has a massive naval side to it, we have an Arleigh Burke at our disposal, and this can launch Tomahawks. In total we have 16 that the ship comes with, and you can just click and drop wherever you want a Tomahawk. And also the developers mentioned that certain scout units or recon units can also laser designate targets for bombs and cruise missiles, including Tomahawks. Now this also was a clear indication that buildings are indeed completely destructible. I don't know if this building that ate 3 Tomahawks is still partially garrisonable or just completely gone, but it is nice to see that buildings are destructible. It is also really nice to see that regular mortars or artillery or tank fire or infantry fighting doesn't immediately destroy buildings. I don't know yet if they do take certain amount of damage, but it is good that they're not easily destructible. Now as soon as I recorded that voice part, this building is being garrisoned by fresh troops, which kind of confused me. I relayed this finding to the developers and I got the following response. Buildings will continue to be playable or garrisonable after destruction, but the amount of soldiers that can garrison these ruins will be reduced. Cities in ruins are actually considered better cover for infantry than when they are not destroyed, so the defensive bonus the infantry gets from them will remain. In the case of high-rise towers, these will lose altitude when destroyed, so a slight advantage can be lost, but it's not too significant. With that, we are at the end of the video. This is basically everything that I could find after diving into this gameplay footage for about 2 hours straight, so I hope you found this video interesting. There's many exciting things coming our way, guys. 2023 is going to be great. We have Broken Arrow at the top of my list. After that we have Company Heroes 3, we have Men of War 2, there's even Headquarters World War 2, which is a more turn-based strategy game. There's many RTS games coming out. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is also in the works, Slytherin is still working on it, so it's going to be a good year for all of our RTS fans out there. So stay tuned for more Broken Arrow.